Join me today and see how I make these paper clusters. I like to think of them as mini works of art, elevating and glorifying paper scraps instead of discarding them. We can then enjoy looking at them in our journals for years to come. And of course, the memory of making them in our happy crafting place. So get a cup of coffee, put your feet up, and watch me make some more. Okay, well, as you can see, I've also made one with a round picture in the middle, and also the one with the elongated picture. I've put embroidery here because this was from a postcard and it reminded me of some embroidery on a fabric. It was rather beautiful. I'm going to make one like this today, but they are exactly the same recipe, if you like. So I'll just put those to one side. So I start off like many people that make these, and there's lots on YouTube you can watch. Everyone seems to have a slightly different way of doing it. I like to spend time and just perhaps make one or two in a session, and just take my time over how they look. So I'm just going to tear some, this is for the base, some brown paper. And then I have layers. So I always like to include a strip of music paper, and this one's quite tiny, so it's quite nice. You can get paper which have, you know, very large notes on it. I use those with pages and envelopes really. So music paper, and then I have a plain piece of paper. I'm just going to put these down because I'm going to ink all of these first. This one's already done, of course. And then I have a bit of writing. So either have it the right way, or I have it so that it follows down the page, just to make it a bit more interesting. So I think I'm going to tear that bit out to go on. I then like to include doily, and I have some wallpaper samples, and when I have the machine out I like to just make some stitches on some samples, just so that they're ready for making paper clusters. And then I just tear a piece off, as you can see in this one. But this one's going to be nature themed, so I'm probably going to tear that piece out, and I tear it with a ruler just to give it an added edge so I can ink it up. And then these are always ready, and you can of course cut them so that you can have smaller pieces. I made some buttons recently, and I'm going to include a button on this one. And then I like to put a word. So this one, because it's nature themed, I've just cut this out of a book, and I'm going to back it onto a piece of brown card. So I'll cut this out smaller, then ink it up. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I like to raise the centerpiece so it stands out and is quite a statement there, and also the word. So for this one I've got some pieces of collage that I've made in the past, so I may use that, but you can use pictures. I've got let me see here, I've been using an old birthday card. I use that on this one, so I just cut it out and layered it up so that it stands out. So as this is going to be a nature one, I'm probably going to cut out a piece of that and have on there and ink that up. I like to have because these are going to go in the sewing journal, I like to have a piece of fabric. So for this one I've got these little bits of gauze type fabric. I'm going to cut a piece of that because I think that will go quite nicely with this. So this I just cut into a strip, so a strip of that as well. What else do we need? I think that's it really. So we have the music, plain paper, fabric, the centerpiece layered, and some words, and this one's got a zigzag stitch on it. Okay, so I'll cut these pieces up. I'll cut these out and ink them up, and I'll ink these pieces up, and then I'll come back and we'll put it together. Okay, well I've inked up all the edges, and as with any recipe, we can always add a new flavour or try something slightly different. So I'm going to round the edges on the brown paper just to see what that adds to it. You may like it. So first thing I put down is the white paper. I've got a number on that one, so I'm going to leave that on. Quite often I tear it so it's just above the brown line, but I'm going to just have it there today. My glue is behaving very badly. Might have to get the other one out. And I like to see a bit of the brown around the edge, so now this I'm not sure I mentioned before, I like to just have a colourful element at the top, just poking out the top, and just to complement the other colours. And this is from one of the backgrounds that we use from our kits. Now I've also got to stick the nature onto this brown card. I'm just going to give it an edge. Oh, I don't think I inked that one. I only want a little fine edge around that. Just gives it a bit more definition. So that's going to go on my picture, but I'm going to build this up. So I'm going to use bits of card from a box when I find some. I'll have to go off and find some. And so I'll put about 3 layers on there, and the same with the, rather like I did with the button, just so that it's a bit 3D. So I'll go and layer those up so they're ready to stick down, and then we're ready to fit it all together. And the joy of making these is fiddling about with them and making sure you're happy with because that's the main thing, is making sure you're happy. So this music piece is going to go on next, but most of it's going to be covered up because I'm going to have the writing there, and then this with the doily there. So rather than waste because I rather love the music paper and I can use that on a smaller cluster, I'm going to just tear that bit off because the top section won't be seen. So that's going to go there, and then that's going to go there. So we'll glue those bits down. And again, if you're not happy, you can always peel it off or put something over the top. But I tend to work with just these pieces, and then but they all come out slightly differently. And with your main picture being different, you get a completely different look. So then we're going to have the fabric, and I think I'll have the paper over the top there. Okay, so it's a good idea just to place your things how you're going to want them before you glue down. I've made this picture larger, which I can always cut down, but I think I quite like it. It's going to work. I may move it up slightly. There, I think that will work. Okay, well, I'm going to glue the fabric down first. Okay, well, I was called away for lunch, so I'm back to it now. Now, if you place things where you want them and you don't want to lose the proportion and how you've laid it out, then it's a good idea to take a photograph and then you can work to that. But what I do sometimes is I make little pencil marks where I know they're going to be hidden, and I can sometimes remember where to place things. Now these two, which I'm going to turn that one around, it's a better side. I'll just pop some glue on there. That's going to be held down by the picture anyway. Right. I found this piece of fabric that I thought picks out a bit of the colour from the picture there. So I'm going to place that there. Just to add a little bit more interest. And then the doily is going about here, but I'll just make sure I've got it yes, but I just want it underneath the fabric. Go about there. And when I'm sure I've got it all in the right place, because I'm using a glue stick, I put it under a few books overnight just to firm it up. And then this, so the picture I've put on some cardboard, and I have this as well, so I'm going to put that one about there. Put two of the letters on. A bit hanging off. And then finally I'm going to add this button down here, just to link in the colours there, the green. And because I've made the buttonholes, I'm going to put some wool through there. And I've got this beautiful wool that my mum knitted a beautiful jumper for me years and years ago, and this is what's left over. I don't know how she managed to knit with it, but it's really beautiful. So I'm going to cut a little bit of that off and poke that through the holes, which will be quite tedious to watch. And then when I've done that, I'll stick the button on there, then I'll come back and show you. Well, hello again. I was called away on family jobs, as we are, but this one is finished now. I put the wool in there. I absolutely love this wool. It's got little loops in it that look like pearls. It's beautiful. And I put an eyelet there with some more wool in. So that one's finished, and while I was off camera I made another one for the sewing journal again. So I put a little patchwork picture on there. I left the doily off. I was going to put some lace on, but I added some extra fabric instead, and another eyelet. So once you've got your base on, you can you know, jazz it up as you like. I've got some tape measures, paper tape measures, and so I thought that would go quite nicely there. And yes, I think they're going to be a nice addition to the journal. So I hope you like my take on the cluster. So I've got a few done over the last couple of days, and I'll just get a book out and we'll see what they look like on a page. Okay, well, I'm intending them for my sewing journal, so I think they're going to fit quite nicely on a plain page, complementing the design page. This one I could put it on there. It would look nice because it's embroidery, and this is showing some stitching. This one I could add to that page. I won't use all of them, but just showing you how they could look. And then the patchwork one would go quite nicely there. Okay, well, next time I'm going to be making some smaller, on the same theme, but smaller paper clusters, and I'll be putting them on hidden paper clips. So join me for that one. Please press the subscribe button, and I'll see you again next time. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.